Hey everyone, Erica with a K here. Last time I talked about the MRI with contrast and the fact that I had to get a mammogram. So today I want to talk about the mammogram. I did have the contrast in my boobs at this point, and the doctor did say, even though it's not ideal, it is okay. So the mammogram was pretty straightforward. It was different than the last time I got it. First of all, I didn't realize the last time I was still numb, so I didn't feel it as bad. It definitely hurt, but it wasn't as bad. This is by far the worst thing that I've had to do so far out of all of this. I was like, I have the marker in my breast from my biopsy, which was like 2 weeks ago. And then she's like, where is the actual thing? Because she put like a sticker on it so that everybody knew, like, we already are aware of this and it's not cancer. You get undressed from the waist up. They put your boob in like a machine that like clamps you basically. So it has a foot pedal, and then when they get close enough, like they're squeezing you enough, they hand crank it the rest of the way to make sure that they don't, I guess, hurt you and whatever. It hurts. The first one that they did was on my right boob, and I feel like she grabbed some skin in it, and I literally yelled, holy shit, because that's how much it hurt. I think it was because the skin was pulling, but regardless, it hurt. It was the worst thing that I've done so far. They first do one where it comes in from the sides, and you're standing for this whole thing. They're not giving you like any kind of medicine or anything like that. It's just straight up like, you're feeling this. Then they turn the machine and they do one like this and press you down this way. Again with the foot pedal, then they crank it the rest of the way. Then they do the same thing on the left boob. So they go from the sides and then they crank it and go down. And when they're taking the actual image, they'll say, hold your breath. And you'll just, and then they'll say, okay, you can breathe. And then they'll ask you to hold your breath again. So I believe it was 2 pictures this way, 2 pictures this way, 2 pictures this way, 2 pictures this way. That's what I think it was. And the woman was really great. I can't remember her name, but she was like, I'm going to go, was it Rachel? Michelle? Something like that. I don't remember. She's like, I'm going to go check and see. The doctor usually wants more pictures taken. Nothing to be alarmed about. This is usually what she wants. So she comes back. She's like, the doctor wants more things of, was it both or was it just the right? It may have just been the right boob. They went back to the right boob. So now I was there because I had lumps in the left side. They focused back on the right side. So basically I have microcalcifications throughout both breasts, which are totally normal to have microcalcifications. But if they're in a pattern or a cluster, they could be precancerous or they could be like stage 0 cancer. It could be a sign that you have cancer, and depends on how they're situated basically in your boob. So in my right boob, I had a cluster of them. She had showed me the screen, and I don't know if it's because I had the dye still in my system or what. The screen, my whole boob looked like black. I think it was from the dye. Maybe that's just what it looks like, I don't know. And then there were like little specks everywhere, and it looked like the night sky. Like it was actually like kind of peaceful to me. It turns out that most of them are benign, but if they're in like clusters and stuff, they're suspicious and they do have to be biopsied. So they were basically trying to see if they were falling in a pattern or something about it falling. And I was like, what does that mean? And she was being very vague with me. And she was like, you know, like when you have tea and the leaves and they lay. I couldn't find any information on that on the internet. They were making me stay in the machine. So my boob was clamped, like it hurts, for 2 minutes because they wanted to see like if it fell or if it laid or something. I'm not really sure. And then they would do the other way for 2 minutes. She went to go see the doctor and she came back in and was like, we got to do it again for about 3 minutes. So they did it again for 3 minutes, this way and this way. From my mammogram, she said, you know, you have very dense breasts. And I was like, I didn't actually know. She's like, they're very dense, which again, I had said in a previous video that you can only find out your breast density from a mammogram. If you have very dense breast or dense breast, cancer could be hidden basically in your breast. It's harder to see it in a mammogram and it's easier to see it on an ultrasound. So just having that information is like really important for your own health. So definitely when you get a mammogram, find out what your breast density is. Advocate for yourself if you have dense breasts. It increases your chances of breast cancer, and it also is harder to detect in a mammogram. You could detect it better in an ultrasound. The doctor comes back in and the doctor's like, your MRI, I already said in the video, your MRI was fine. There's nothing that we found in your MRI. However, you have a cluster of microcalcifications in your right boob and we got to biopsy them. And I'm like, okay, I thought this was just going to be like a standard thing, especially because I was going for my left boob. I didn't expect it to be my right boob. And I was just like, okay, like whatever. So they made the appointment for the biopsy a week later, which is great because last time I had to wait 3 weeks to get a biopsy. It was in a different hospital, but I had to wait 3 weeks to get my first biopsy. And that was really brutal. This one was a week, which is not bad at all. So I made the appointment for Wednesday, which was yesterday. I had the second biopsy. That was a mammogram guided biopsy, where the first biopsy I had was ultrasound guided biopsy. So like and subscribe if you guys want to stay updated on this, and I'm going to try to get that out as soon as possible.